Tonight, our special coverage as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rules out the possibility of a Palestinian state post-war. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Zahra Sayed. Today is the 104th day since Israel started its incessant attacks on Palestinians. In the past 24 hours, Gaza has witnessed a tragic escalation in violence. At least 142 Palestinians have been killed. Another 278 have been wounded. Palestinian Ministry of Health says it's on its 7th day of an almost total telecommunications blackout in Gaza. Khan Yunis's Nasser hospital is under severe duress due to the proximity of Israeli attacks. The non-stop attacks are forcing thousands of Palestinians taking refuge in the hospital to flee. United Nations human rights officials have documented cases of detainees who have been beaten and blindfolded by Israeli forces in Gaza. One woman, Odeh Salem, has shared disturbing details of the abuse she and her daughters suffered before her husband's tragic execution on December 19th. She told Al Jazeera Media Israeli soldiers stripped her and her daughters. Then the soldiers filmed them. The United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund reports that almost 20,000 babies have been born amidst the ongoing war in Gaza. 135,000 children who are under the ages of 2 years old are facing severe malnutrition risks. At the time of writing, the Palestinian death toll stands at 24,762. Another 8,000 are presumed dead under the rubble. 62,108 Palestinians have been wounded in Israeli attacks. Israel's revised death toll stands at 1,139. A report by the Committee to Protect Journalists shows Israel has imprisoned the most journalists next to Iran in the past year. Following Israel's war on Palestine, the arrests of journalists have increased dramatically. As of this week, at least 19 reporters are in Israeli prisons. During the same period last year, there was only one journalist in Israeli custody. This year's arrests have been mainly made in the West Bank since the onset of Israel's war. Most journalists have been held in administrative detention, meaning they will be held without charge or trial for up to 6 months. The reasons for their arrest remains unclear. Critics say the arrests are linked to pro-Palestinian posts on social media. The Committee to Protect Journalists says 83 journalists have been killed in the Gaza war so far. The casualties include 67 Palestinians, 4 Israelis, and 3 Lebanese. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says there will be no creation of a Palestinian state post-war. During a televised news conference, Netanyahu vowed to continue the military offensive against Hamas until achieving a, quote, decisive victory. He says Israel needs to maintain security control over territory till west of the Jordan River. Following Netanyahu's comments, the United States National Security Advisor John Kirby said there will be no reoccupation of Gaza after the war. He reiterated the U.S.'s commitment to a two-state solution. The U.S. Department of State spokesperson Matthew Miller said a Palestinian state is essential for Israel's long-term security and rebuilding Gaza. Despite the difference in narrative between the two countries, the U.S. has reaffirmed its unwavering support for Israel. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken proposed that a path to Palestinian statehood could stabilize the Middle East during his visit to the region last week. Saudi Arabia's Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan also emphasized the importance of peace for the Palestinians as a prerequisite for recognizing Israel at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. President Biden says he is optimistic of the support of Muslim voters in the upcoming election. The news comes as Muslim voters have launched an online campaign, Abandon Biden, in response to the Biden administration's stance on Gaza. Speaking at the White House, Biden, however, acknowledged the long road ahead to the November 5th election. Biden's reluctance to demand a Gaza ceasefire has drawn criticism from Muslim community leaders. Experts say it is potentially impacting his chances of re-election in swing states with significant Arab voting blocs. Arab Americans, although a minority in the U.S., are a significant factor in battleground states. For instance, Biden narrowly won Nevada in 2020 with a small margin, where the Muslim population is 7,400. The Muslim population in swing states such as Georgia, Michigan, and Wisconsin surpasses Biden's margin of victory in 2020, making their support crucial in the upcoming election. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate on Monday the Grand Ram Temple in Ayodhya, Uttar Pradesh. The site was previously home to the historic Babri Mosque. The destruction of the mosque in 1992 by Hindu extremists remains a traumatic event for Muslims in India. The reconstruction of the temple represents a significant religious fault line in India. It shows the growing influence of Modi's party, the Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party. The Ram Temple is intended to commemorate the birthplace of the Hindu god Rama. In view of the upcoming national elections, Modi wants to use the inauguration of the temple to appeal to the 80% Hindu majority. The temple covers an area of 7.2 hectares. It will house a 1.3-meter tall idol of Lord Ram. Ayodhya has undergone significant development, including improved infrastructure, a new airport, and a railroad station. Critics see the inauguration of the temple as deviation from India's secular traditions. The leading Muslim body, Jamaat-e-Islami Hind, has voiced concern over the inauguration. It is calling the inauguration a tool for political propaganda and a means of reaping electoral dividends. A lawsuit has been filed against the Suffolk County Police Department in New York for forcibly removing a Muslim woman's hijab during her arrest. The arrest was made in 2022. The lawsuit has been filed by the Council on American Islamic Relations on behalf of Marwa Fahmy. The suit accuses the police department of wrongful arrest based on a false tip. It also seeks compensation for rights violations and emotional suffering. Fahmy's hijab was allegedly taken off her during her arrest, and she was subjected to an inappropriate body search by male officers. Despite her repeated requests, the hijab was not returned to her until her release, leaving her without the head covering for hours. The Council on American Islamic Relations argues that the department's hijab removal policy is inhumane and unlawful. The lawsuit says the department violated both New York state and federal laws. These laws protect religious freedom for those who choose to wear religious head coverings. A hit Canadian medical drama, Transplant, has garnered immense success with its unique narrative. Created by Joseph Kay, the show goes beyond cliches, presenting a significant shift in Muslim representation on television. Actor Hamza Haq is playing the lead role of Syrian refugee and doctor Bashir Hamid. His role highlights the importance of accurately portraying immigrant demographics that have long-awaited positive representation. The drama revolves around Bashir's journey from escaping a traumatic past to confronting institutional obstacles in Canada. The story concludes in 4 seasons. Thank you for watching. Our news is produced by Muslim Network TV, which is a not-for-profit organization. We need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad. Assalamu alaikum.